Where does Patrick Mahomes rank amongst all-time quarterbacks?
You want me to go first?
And are the Chiefs
Can I go first?
a dynasty?
I would love for you to go first.
All right, I will speak on the Chiefs first and then get to Patrick Mahomes. Excuse me. Look at that. My mind already understands where this is going to go. The Chiefs, I believe, are a dynasty. We have to understand that what the Patriots did is one of one. It probably won't ever happen again, where we see a team for a span of years, well, it was really a little bit more than a decade, be so dominant and be able to accumulate so many championships in such a short amount of time. Why I consider this a dynasty is because they went to 3 Super Bowls. They've went to 5 straight AFC championships. They've won 2. To me, I'm sorry, in the modern NFL, an NFL period, this is a dynasty. Now, to talk about Patrick Mahomes and where he ranks all time. This guy is a 2-time MVP. He is a 2-time Super Bowl champ, a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. He is a touchdown leader 2 times. He is a yards leader 1 time. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro. You can tell I did my homework because that's just all off the top of my head. It's hard to keep him out of the top 5, absolutely. Again, I spoke about it a little bit earlier. I'm a Peyton Manning guy. I'm going to take Peyton Manning. He has 5 MVPs. He has a laundry list of... He has the record for most touchdowns in a season. He has a record for most yards in a season. Peyton Manning, I don't have to go through his resume. You have Wikipedia. Look it up. It's one of the most impressive there is. I am going to take Peyton Manning for how amazing he was in the regular season. He does have 2 championships. I saw in the comments already they were going to say to me that he should be 1-3 if it wasn't for this amazing defense. But I could say the same thing about the Colts against the Saints. If Reggie Wayne runs his route, if the defense plays better, he could beat the Saints. We can do this back and forth shit all we want. Okay, I apologize. I'm getting a phone call.
First time.
It's on D&D. It's my watch. I have Mahomes as the 4th best quarterback of all time. If you want to make the argument that Mahomes is top 3, you have a case. A strong one. I'd be oblivious to say not. And that's why this championship hurts me more than it hurts a lot of other people, because I have a little bit more at stake. Peyton Manning is my favorite football player ever, one of my favorite athletes of all time. It's hard to see Mahomes accomplish so much in such a short amount of time, especially playing for the Chiefs, because I understand that his legacy is already matching up with my GOAT. I will still take Brady. Montana is there because when it came down to the big game, Montana was just always big time. And against the real deal defenses that we don't see nowadays, Montana still withstood in that pocket, and he won game after game. Brady played in both eras, where he was dominant when the defense were scary. He was still dominant when the defense were a little bit more lenient. And by a little bit, we know what I mean by that. But Mahomes has a long time left to go, and this resume is scary already. So, yes, I have Mahomes at 4, but I'm not going to be dumb here. I understand that he has already put together one of the craziest resumes you'll ever see.
You know, when it comes to Mahomes, I'm not going to pretend and sit up here and act like I saw Joe Montana play or Dan Marino play or John Elway play.
You didn't.
I did see Tom Brady play. I've seen Peyton Manning play. I've seen Drew Brees play. Patrick Mahomes is the best. I don't care about the accolades. If we want to talk about greatest, Tom Brady, yes, he is the greatest quarterback ever. He has the accolades. He's the most clutch quarterback. But when you talk about eye test, when you talk about peak, it has to be Patrick Mahomes. What he's done just his 5 years as a starter is truly remarkable. 5 straight AFC Championship appearances, 5 straight division titles, 5 straight 12-win seasons, 2-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time NFL MVP, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 2-time passing leader.
I said it already.
This I know, but listen, you just got to rattle off these accomplishments, and
once was enough.
Patrick Mahomes is the most accomplished quarterback within his first 6 seasons in NFL history.
Ever.
It's not even close.
You're right.
Right now, the argument with him is, can he get to that number Brady's at? Because if he can get to that number, he will be the undisputed GOAT, in my opinion.
Even though Brady, I understand it's not quarterback versus quarterback, no doubt about it. Even though when they did match up, Brady did have the better game. Brady did win. That's the only thing I would say.
In my eyes, it would still be Mahomes because I think Mahomes is a better player peak for peak. I'd look at pocket presence. Mahomes has had the best pocket presence since he started in the NFL. He has the lowest sack rate of any quarterback in the NFL since he's entered the league. You talk about improvising skills. Mahomes is the best ever at that.
No doubt.
You talk about arm strength, throwing from different arm angles. Mahomes is the best at that.
He is.
Accuracy, he's at the top of the top. There is nothing that Mahomes can do. And I look at just the things that Mahomes has been able to accomplish, and in the playoffs to still play hobbled and injured. I mean, this Super Bowl run was a legacy type run.
And we didn't even talk about that.
This was like Isaiah Thomas breaking his ankle in the finals and still winning. I mean, this was all-time legendary things. In his first 80 regular season starts, he has the most passing yards, touchdowns, and net yards per attempt. And this is a crazy stat. This is just how much Patrick Mahomes has flipped the script on what we thought was not possible. No quarterback has ever thrown for 5,000 yards and won a Super Bowl in the same season. Previous non-MVPs to reach Super Bowl have lost. Previous 6 individual passing yards leaders have lost. Previous 8 teams to win the coin toss in the Super Bowl have lost. Mahomes, all those things,
It's irrelevant.
doesn't matter because he still won. I just look at Mahomes.
Bad. No, so bad.
And not only that,
really
but
not well.
This is another thing that helps Patrick Mahomes' case. Tom Brady on the Patriots, what did he routinely do? He took pay cuts so the Patriots could have a better roster. Patrick Mahomes is the first quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl while taking up 17% of his team's cap space. Previously, no quarterback had won, taking up more than 12.5%. This guy is just unbelievable. He had a top receiver. He was elite, legendary with him. You remove him, and now defenses played him differently. They're manning up on these guys, and it didn't matter. Teams played man coverage at the 4th highest rate in the league against Mahomes, and he was number 1 against man coverage in the entire league.
That's food.
I just look at Patrick Mahomes, and to me, he is the best quarterback that I've ever seen play. And I'm a Tom Brady guy. Like, I love Tom Brady. I have his Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey.
No, facts, Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, Saints. I love him.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. How could you not love Drew Brees' story? After Katrina, he won Super Bowl for the Saints. I mean, respect Drew Brees. I actually have Drew Brees' book around here somewhere.
Yeah,
I just hate that.
It's right there.
Yep, there it is. Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, come on, the man that with the legend. Stop playing with Brees. But no, listen, for real, like, Tom Brady, he to me for a long time, like, you knew whenever he had the ball in his hands, he was going to make something happen. That's the same feeling you get with Mahomes. And I know people are going to act like this is reactionary, but I don't think so. I think if you watch both these quarterbacks play, Mahomes just looks like the better quarterback.
It's a good point. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I feel like we're all going to have around the same opinion. It's just you put him at 1, 2, 3. That's really what it is, because the one thing I am happy about with this Super Bowl outcome is coming into this, people were saying, oh, if you look at Mahomes' numbers in the Super Bowl, out of 8 quarters, he really only played good in 1 quarter, and you see these stats, and it really is some gross numbers, but at the end of the day, he had a Super Bowl, and then the loss against the Bucs, I thought he did some really good things. Tackles go out, and he wasn't the same.
So good.
He wasn't the same player. Mahomes, to me, he's number 2. I'm not ready to put him number 1 over Tom Brady. If you want to talk strictly eye test, who makes the more impressive plays with your feet, with your arm, I could level with you and say it is Patrick Mahomes. I think that's pretty evident. But Tom Brady winning 7 Super Bowls is something that I don't know Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to. I think if there's any quarterback right now, obviously it's Mahomes already having to, still being 26, 27 years old. Sounds like Andy Reid's going to be around for a couple more seasons. Travis Kelce has a couple more prime years. And then this front office is great. They're going to be able to replace guys. They lost Tyreek Hill, didn't miss a beat, won the Super Bowl. So I feel pretty confident, even if they lose Kelce, Andy Reid, whoever it might be, Patrick Mahomes' greatness goes beyond that. We talk about that with franchise quarterbacks, and you elevate when things aren't going your way, when you lose guys, when you have injuries. That's what Patrick Mahomes does. And I know people are going to sit here and say, well, he has the best offensive mind of all time, and he has the best tight end of all time, and he had Tyreek Hill. Look at dynasties, man. I mean, Brady had probably the best coach of all time with some of the best defenses in Randy Moss and Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. Joe Montana had Jerry Rice. Peyton had Marvin Harrison. He had Reggie Wayne, Jeff Saturday. Like, all dynasties. Yeah, Eric Decker. Julius Thomas. How can I forget?
He made Julius. Stop that.
I know. All dynasties have great things around him, have great things around the quarterback. It's never just the quarterback carries everything for 15 years and goes on to win 5 Super Bowls. Mahomes has a great supporting cast, but you go through the laundry list, not really laundry list, but all of the great quarterbacks or the quarterbacks in Mahomes' class, there's really only a handful of them. They have great weapons too. They have great support systems and coaches. And, you know, this AFC is going to be tough with Burrow, with Allen. There's a lot of good quarterbacks going on right now. But as it stands, 2 Super Bowls, you've been to 3 already in 5 years. I mean, you're on pace to maybe win 6, right? And who knows, maybe you go back to back. If you three-peat, that changes things. So I think right now I'm pretty comfortable having Mahomes number 2. It's just 7 rings to 2 right now. That's the only thing stopping me.
Better than Payton, bro.
With all due respect.
I got
Talking about the most knowledgeable, the smartest, highest IQ quarterback of all time.
I got mesmerized by your handsomeness. I was just watching you and stuff.
Appreciate that, bro.
Oh man, you guys all remember when the Warriors dynasty started, and it just felt like a gut punch in the air, like no other team could win.
Mahomes is greater than Steph, though.
That's not where I was getting,
I'll
but
keep it a stack.
Mahomes is Michael Jordan.
Did you?
Like, if we're comparing Mahomes to somebody, it's Michael Jordan.
I was talking about the Chiefs as a whole, you know, like just giving them the credit that they've been.
Facts. Keep going.
They've been on that type of
Honestly,
dynasty.
Such a good fucking comparison.
They've been on that type of dynasty run. They've just been dominating the AFC, kind of like how the Warriors were dominating the league. And it's amazing. You know, you got Andy Reid, you got Steve Kerr, then you got Steph Curry, you got Patrick Mahomes, then you got Travis Kelce, you got Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, whatever the fuck you want to put in there. Then you got the plugins, Andre Iguodala, Andrew Wiggins. Like you just got plugins on each side. So I think it's so impressive how as long as you keep the 3-man tandem, which is Steph, Clay, Dre, and then on this side you got Kelsey, Andy Reid,
Throw Chris Jones
Patrick
in
Mahomes.
there. He deserves it.
Throw Chris Jones in there too. As long as you have but as long as you have those 3 tandems, you're always going to be good. So I think that's just interesting how they've created a dynasty, and they're probably going to go on a little bit longer than the Warriors. You know, they're young, fresh. Patrick Mahomes is young. He's doing it a bit early. In terms of where he is all time, I think the room is pretty comfortable with Brady, Mahomes, and Peyton. I think they're in a room of their own. I think they're in a class of their own. I do think Mahomes is better than Peyton. I think he's better than Brady, but Brady has the accomplishments. You know, he has the career. When you have the career, you got for a guy like Brady, you got to stack your career up with his. It's gonna take a long time for Mahomes to do that, but he's on a great pace. But in terms of like the Drew Breeses and the Brett Favres, the John Elways,
Respect John Elway.
Respect them, but Mahomes is better than all of them.
My dad actually, I want to talk about him for a sec because he was helping me cope through this. He called me this morning and he goes, "I want you to understand that what you said to me rang true," because I was saying why I was so upset was because I spoke about it. I understand that his resume is already stacking up crazy next to Peyton's, and that's very difficult for me to sit with. He said the exact same thing to me when he was growing up. He was a Dan Marino guy. And Dan Marino was the second best of all time when Dan Marino retired. He was the all-time leader in passing yards, all-time leader in passing touchdowns. And he had to sit here and watch as these quarterbacks come along, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, all these guys come after his record and kind of make Dan Marino obsolete. Or not obsolete, but we don't speak about him as highly as we once did. And so that did make me feel a little bit better, but at the same time a little bit sad because I understand how great Peyton Manning was, and I understand that he is a top 5, top 4, top 3 in my eyes quarterback of all time. But I would be ignorant and oblivious to not at least acknowledge that Mahomes is on a trajectory that literally we've only seen from Michael Jordan. And that is what's tough for me to sit with. It's very hard.
And I told y'all last
Respect
show.
Michael Jordan.
What do you mean respect?
What do you
Michael
mean?
Jordan?
Respect Michael Jordan.
It's Mahomes.
What's crazy is he's won faster than Michael Jordan did.
Yeah, but you got to remember what MJ
Not disrespect. It's crazy. It's really not because Mahomes came in year 1. Why am I defending him? Someone please,
I think,
Joel, this is your
What's
argument.
disrespectful about it?
No, I need y'all to really, listen, you guys are the football guys. I will never take that away from y'all. But when you step over to this land, I need y'all to understand what Michael Jordan
Let's not chat like
was
we don't
doing.
know what we're talking about.
I need y'all to understand
basketball.
what Michael Jordan was doing in his career. He rattled off MVPs, steal titles,
Mahomes is done.
scoring title. I mean, he did that 10 times. He went ring,
we're only 5
3
years
point
into him
so-
starting.
But I'm saying MJ was, when he walked into the league, he was a different beast. So I think.
Same
What
with
does
Mahomes.
Mahomes need to do to get that?
Wait, hold on.
For
hold on.
MJ?
I'm
That's
cur-
what. No, I really.
no.
That's why, Riff. I don't even
He's
like
on
this
pace
guy.
for like 6 MVPs.
I don't even
6
like
Super
him.
Wait,
He already lost the
I'm
Super
actually,
Bowl.
I'm actually baffled. I'm actually
MJ
baffled.
ain't
with this.
lose.
Wait,
MJ
hold
never
on.
lost.
Okay, MJ has not lost in the championship. We know that.
MJ.
But guess what? He lost in the first round. When his first playoff appearance, he lost. Mahomes
You
has
can't-
gone
well,
to the championship
well, you
game
can't-
each
well-
year he started.
No, I'm
5
not- yeah,
straight
yeah.
AFC championship appearances. What are we
I'm
talking
not-
about?
I'm not- I'm
5-time
with you.
Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 2-time
yeah.
MVP. Michael Jordan has 5 MVPs in his career. Mahomes might finish with 5 when it's all said
be
and
more.
done. And all I'm saying is that, like,
MVPs. Let's hope not
Jordan
5.
is different.
We need
I don't know if
4.
you could put
Stop
them
at
there.
4 for the love of God.
Michael
look,
Jordan's more
Michael
Brady,
Jordan.
like.
What is Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan is known as the best basketball player of all time, according to some. If it's not him, it's LeBron. I think Patrick Mahomes right now, you're talking about peak for peak. If we're talking about greatest, he's already a top 5 greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
If we're talking about just what we see with our eyes and peak, he is top 2, if not 1 of all time. Like, he is on that MJ LeBron trajectory.
He just doesn't have the longevity of those guys. Their careers are
MJ
over.
don't have longevity like that.
But his career is over.
In
What
terms of
does MJ have? What he accomplished in a short amount of time.
And peak.
Mahomes in 5 years as a
And peak.
starter has
MJ
2 MVPs,
no, MJ has
2 Super Bowls, and 2
MJ
Super Bowls
has
MVPs.
MJ has Tom Brady like accomplishments with Patrick Mahomes' peak. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have those two
He's
connections.
only
Not
5 years in.
So you got
What
that's
do you
what I'm
mean?
saying.
I
To
know.
put
Why
him, to
not?
put him up. All I'm saying is to put him up as like
On
with MJ.
pace.
Yeah,
Is
with
it safe to
MJ
say
for
on
his
pace?
like because NBA
when
and
did
football
MJ
are
win his
different.
first MVP?
I have it right here.
Mahomes won it as his first year as a starter.
He won it in 1988. But to compare him, because MJ won MVP, DPOY, the steals title,
I'm
the
staying out of this for the
scoring
rest of the
title
time.
in a season.
Look,
like in quarterback,
there
you
is
obviously
nothing-
can't win
there-
multiple things.
There
was
is
a rushing
nothing.
title
There
every
is nothing
season.
I can
But-
compare to
But that's,
defensive
no, I'm talking about
accolades
just
for Jordan.
But in terms of just because listen, I love Mahomes is a dog. He's a dog. He lost to Joe Burrow in MJ's peak of his powers. He ain't lose to nobody.
The peak of his
Mahomes-
powers, he
he
lost to
he-
Detroit.
he
Mahomes
didn't
has
lose.
The peak of
never-
his powers, he lost
Mahomes
to
has
I'm talking
Detroit.
about when he has a
lost.
team, bro.
I mean,
In the 90s, MJ in the 90s was
what
his
was
thing.
what was
He lost
Mahomes'
in the
defensive
90s,
ranking
did he
last
not?
year?
Oh, I don't listen. I ain't gonna.
All I'm saying is that
I ain't
Mahomes-
gonna compare teams. I ain't gonna.
I'm gonna say this.
It's different.
Okay, now we're comparing teams because football is more to account for than just than basketball.
No, I just told
It's
those. I'm
more-
not comparing
Yeah,
teams.
because it's offense
I
and
couldn't do it.
defense.
I couldn't do it.
Tom Brady, as much as I love Tom Brady, first Super Bowl he had an elite level defense. Versus the Falcons, he had an elite level defense as well. You know, versus the Rams.
Come on. Game-winning drive in both those games.
Yeah, I'm not taking away from Brady, but I'm saying that versus the Rams, elite level defense. The Rams were unstoppable
That's
that
the
year,
only one.
Talk about
and they shut them down.
The Bengals or the Brady?
No, he's
Talking
talking
about
Brady.
Brady.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Patrick Mahomes,
I know.
in his first 5 years as a starter, there has not been one year where the Chiefs' defense has been elite. When he won the Super Bowl, the Chiefs' defense in the second half of the season was great. But for an entire season, the Chiefs' defense has not been elite. Like, Mahomes is winning with good defenses, not great, not elite, not top of the top defenses.
And also on top of this, and another thing, again, this is hard for me to sit with. Mahomes loses Tyreek Hill. We've already spoken about this a little bit. He has Juju Smith-Schuster. He has MVS. Of course, Travis Kelce is one of the all-time greats, no doubt, and that's the main focal point of the offense. But the fact that we see Kadarius Toney, we see Sky Moore in the biggest game of the season where they really haven't had a strong impact all year, but in the biggest game of the season, Mahomes is able to spread the love and have them have success. Kelce was Kelce, but I remember 2 weeks ago when MVS looked like prime Reggie Wayne because Patrick Mahomes was just dotting up. This Sunday, it wasn't MVS's turn. He's just able to spread the wealth with guys that on other teams are average to slightly above average. Mahomes makes these guys look so much better than they actually are. Again, these are NFL guys, and I understand that
It's hard
sounds
to compare
very
to NBA.
rude. It is very tough, but I want it to be known that I've seen two quarterbacks actually win championships. Now, really, this is where it only comes to one. One quarterback that has won a championship with a mediocre offensive supporting cast. Now, I understand Kelsey's amazing, and that's where Gronk also ties into this as too. And I respect Julian Edelman, but you had Chris Hogan. You had Malcolm Mitchell. You had Brandon LaFell. You had Danny Amendola. These are average to slightly above average guys. Edelman deserves his respect. Gronk deserves his respect. But Gronk was out a year. Edelman was told to be the main guy, and he was. Edelman had some impressive Super Bowl runs, but again, it all comes back to Tom Brady being able to do as much as he did with as little as he had. And for Mahomes to now be the second ever for me to see do that also does give him a boost, in my opinion, too, because my hope was that with Tyreek leaving town, that he would fall off, because now he's throwing to Juju, now he's throwing to MVS, now McCole Hardman has to take an increased role. Kadarius Toney got added to the mix, but for him to win the MVP after losing a top 3 guy in the NFL, in my opinion at least, to win the Super Bowl, I mean, bro,
There's nothing to say.
what are you gonna what
say.
really can you say that is gonna be negative on this man's name? You can't.
And I showed Dehls. I've been saying Mahomes is MJ since
He actually has a
2019.
tweet from 2019 saying that.
2019?
Yes.
Yo, fucking respect.